Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today, let me first of all present you the beginning of the new chapter of knowledge that I'm going to share with you. So this knowledge specifically is related with psychology, like the introduction to psychology. And here I will talk about brain and Freud and other well-known psychologists and their theories and etc. So if you're interested in it and if you maybe experience some difficulties, I hope I will help you to internalize this very complicated information, because I'm personally going through the same experience, and all this kind of, from first sight, I guess, vague stuff are very difficult to apprehend. And therefore, I believe that making it together, sharing some comments, creating this, let's create the name for our community. So I don't know. If you are interested, you can comment down below, or I can come up with the idea on my next video. Okay, so today let's talk about the brain. First of all, the brain has been consuming 20% of energy and calories, even constituting only 2% of our body, which is significantly small. However, 20% of the entire energy and our protein, fat, and carbohydrates, I think it is quite big. And fun fact, a lot of people have been telling that we as an individuals have been using only 10% of our brain, but it is false. Actually, we use the whole brain, but just at different times. Okay, so these are the introduction of the brain, its consumption, and so on. Now let me tell you about the lobes. So in general, we have 4 lobes: the frontal one, the parietal one, the temporal one, and occipital one. So let me show you so you can clearly understand what I am actually talking about. Okay, so the frontal lobe, which locate here, they are responsible for planning, for motivation, for decision making, solving some problems, and logical thinking. So everything we have been doing on our daily basis is actually situated over here in the frontal lobe. Then we go to our parietal lobe, which is located over here. So the parietal lobe is responsible for processing the somatosensory stimuli. So everything we touch, everything we feel cold or hot, this part is responsible for it. Then we go for temporal lobes. So the temporal lobe, they are responsible for processing the some sound stimuli. So our hearing, and also the convergence of our vision and our hearing. And another one, our occipital lobe, which is located right here. So the occipital lobe is responsible for the processing of visual information. So basically everything we see is internalized here, which is quite funny in my perspective. Okay, so that is it. It is all for the lobes. Then we go into the parts of the brain, so a little bit deeper. So the parts of the brain, 3 parts: brain stem. So the brain stem, it is our thalamus, hypothalamus, pons, medulla, midbrain, and hippocampus. Okay, then our cerebral hemispheres. So cerebral hemispheres are located below the cerebral cortex. So like right here, our cerebral hemispheres, right and left. And then the cerebellum. So the cerebellum, in other words, it is a little brain. So this is our cerebrum, big brain. And cerebellum, it is right here. Right here is the little brain. 3 main parts. Okay, it is clear for now. Okay, so for your better understanding, I have printed that in order to show you. Again, cerebral hemispheres, brain stem, which is again thalamus, hypothalamus, pons, medulla, midbrain, hippocampus, and yeah. And what else? Cerebellum. So this is our cerebellum, little brain. Okay, it's clear. Another nomenclature of the brain consists of telencephalon, mesencephalon, diencephalon, myelencephalon, and metencephalon. So I have, 5 parts. So this is our telencephalon, which is cerebral cortex. Then going to subcortical structures. Actually, subcortical structures consists of basal ganglia, amygdala, and hippocampal formation. So, okay, then telencephalon first. Second, diencephalon, which is thalamus and hypothalamus. Then, actually, by the way, for maybe from the first side, all this cephalon, mesencephalon could be seen as very awful technical terms, and in my perspective, they are. So for the easier understanding, cephalon also can be said as the head or the brain. So the other parts like telen, myelin, and etc., they just describe the part that I'm going to describe you right now. Next, mesencephalon, which is here. In other words, it is a midbrain. Mesencephalon, midbrain. Then myelencephalon, medulla. So it is the part of our brainstem. This is a medulla, or medulla oblongata. And then metencephalon. Metencephalon, in other words, it is a cerebellum, our little brain. And that's it. Okay. And there are a lot of other little parts inside of our brain, but I will leave it for part 2, where I will specifically describe you in details what part is responsible for. And now I will tell you the functions about those main 3 parts: cerebral hemispheres, brainstem, and cerebellum. So, let's start from cerebral hemispheres. Okay, so cerebral hemispheres, they are responsible for our conscious experience. So our perception, or in other words, it is called like qualia, everything we perceive as good or bad, cold or hot. So these are subjective things, and cerebral hemispheres are responsible for it, for our conscious experience. And in general, I can say that they are responsible for our cognitive abilities. Cerebral hemispheres consist of cerebral cortex and subcortical structures. As I mentioned before, subcortical structures consist of basal ganglia, and limbic system. Okay, that's it for now. Another part, it is cerebellum. Cerebellum is responsible for our movement, for our motor functions, posture, and language, the cognitive abilities of our language. And the fact is that cerebellum contains the greater amount of neurons. And the other part is, brainstem. The brainstem is responsible for our digestion, breathing, and heart beating. So, for example, if once injures his brainstem, it will definitely influence the way it can actually kill the person, because this part, the brainstem, thalamus, hypothalamus, pons, medulla, midbrain, they are responsible for our breathing and heart beating, which are salient for our living in general. Going to the parts I have mentioned before, diencephalon, myelencephalon, and mesencephalon. In general, these parts as medulla, pons, midbrain, they are responsible for our sleep-wake cycle, hormones, our growth, and sensory and motor functions. So, actually that's it. Let's sum up. For now, we have an understanding about the lobes, their function. We have the understanding about the main three parts of our brain and what are they responsible for. We have a little understanding of cortical and subcortical structures and their structure, and we know the classification of these cephalon things. Again, telencephalon. Then let's just repeat that again for better internalization. Telencephalon, then diencephalon, mesencephalon, myelencephalon, and metencephalon. All these four, they are the parts of our brain stem. So this is a brain stem. And we know how many calories our brain consumes, 20%. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope that you have derived something very useful from this video, because honestly, it is pretty complicated topic. And again, I think like creating our little community could somehow be helpful and also fun. So if you have any questions, any comments or recommendation, or if you disagree even with something, I'm more than happy to read all of that. So thank you so much for your attention, and I see you in my next video. Bye!